Hi everyone. Let me ask you one question. Have you all subscribed to our random videos channel? If you still haven't subscribed, please do subscribe to our channel. Give a thumbs up liking and share our videos with all your friends, with all your near and dear ones. Please do it and watch our videos slowly till the end. Don't fast forward and watch it. Okay, you will not understand. And this is especially going out to our students, ICSE students and third semester Tumkur University students. ICSE 9th and 10th standard students, please watch the video slowly and completely without fast forwarding it. Okay, thank you. Now, in the previous video, we were talking about Brutus's speech on oath taking. He says they should not believe in oath. Their suffering faces, their suffering souls, and how Caesar is misusing the present time. He says these three reasons are sufficient for all these people to come united instead of taking an oath, he says. And then, now let me tell you as to what Brutus says about oath taking. What Brutus says, who has to take oath? Who takes oath? He talks about who are those people who need promises, who need oath taking, who need this swearing in, who need to swear. He says, come to Act 2, Scene 1. And here, I think, see, when I end my video, I request all my students to mark where I stop, so that it becomes easy for you, to continue following my lines, okay, or the lines in the book. Here, now Brutus talks about who are those people who need to swear, who need to promise. He says, I'll read out the entire passage, you just keep following it. You have to keep your book open, follow the lines. Otherwise, ICSE student 9th and 10th standard, you wouldn't be able to answer annotations, okay? Look at this, he says, Brutus says, swear, you know who swear? Swear priests and cowards, and men cautelous, old feeble carrions, and such suffering souls that welcome wrongs. Unto bad causes swear such creatures as men doubt. But do not stain the even virtue of our enterprise, nor the insuppressive metal of our spirits, to think that either our cause or our performance did need an oath. When every drop of blood that every Roman bears and nobly bears is guilty of a several bastardy, if he do break the smallest particle of any promise that had passed from him. Look at this. Brutus now says, he talks about who are those people who swear, who promise. He says, priests have to swear, cowards have to swear, and men cautelous. Who are these cautelous men? Men who cheat people. These deceitful and cheating people are called betrayers. People who, cheat others are called cautelous men. Such people need promises, oath taking or swearing, he says. Priests, cowards, and men cautelous, and old feeble carrions. A carrion is a dead body. The meaning of feeble is very weak. Old, weak, dead bodies. Look at this. Shakespeare calls old people with very short memory or with no memory, old people, feeble carrions. He calls them old and weak dead bodies. Old people with very weak memory. Those old people should swear, and then suffering souls that welcome wrongs. People who welcome wrongs and suffer, such people need oaths. And also, unto bad causes swear such creatures as men doubt. And even doubtful men swear to commit crimes. Doubtful men are evil men. Evil men swear that they would do wrong things to others. And such evil men need such promises. Then he says, but, let me tell you, my dear friends, but let us not stain, let us not spoil the sacred duty of ours in the name of promises. What according to Brutus is their sacred duty? Saving their country by assassinating Caesar, thinking that Caesar has already become a king, has already become a dictator, and has already made his people his slaves. Is it not a foolish thing on the part of Brutus, dear friends? Hence he says, let us not stain, let us not spoil, let us not bring bad name to the even virtue of our enterprise. What is our enterprise? What is our enterprise? Means plan, duty, work at hand. What is that even virtue? What is that sacred virtue, sacred goodness of our plan? The assassination of Caesar. Let us not bring bad name to this sacred duty in the name of promises. And let us not even bring bad name to the insuppressive metal of our spirits. When he says our spirits, he's talking about their enthusiasm, their love for their country. It has metal, it has that quality, Let us not, that quality is insuppressive. Nobody can destroy that quality of loving one's country. But if you promise, or if you force people to promise, then we are spoiling even this love of our country, he says. Nor the insuppressive metal of our spirits. To think that he has used or twice. Let us change the first or into either. He says either this or that. Look at this. He says, or to think that either our cause or our performance did need an oath. Even if you think that thinking itself is bad. If you think that our cause, what is the cause? The sufferings of our soul, the pale faces of Romans, the misuse of the age by Julius Caesar. This is the cause. Let us not bring bad name to that cause and our performance. What is our performance? The assassination of Caesar. We have to dive into that action to save our country. So either the cause or the performance does not need any oath. These three reasons are enough to bring us all together. The faces of men, the sufferings of the soul, and the misuse, the time's abuse, he says. The age which is being misused by the ambitious Caesar for his selfish motives. Then he says, every drop of blood that Roman bears, Now he's talking about the blood of Romans. Our blood, the blood of true Romans is always sacred. Who is a true Roman? One who loves his country. One who is ready to lay down his life for his country. One who is ready to sacrifice his life for his country. Such a person is said to be, having this sacred blood in his body. He says, every drop of blood that Roman has, every Roman carries, and nobly carries. What's the meaning of bears? Carries, runs. In the body of every noble Roman, the blood which runs in that body is always sacred. It will be sacred if he stick to his plan without revealing it to others. If he reveals it to others, then he should feel that his blood is polluted. He should feel guilty of several bastardy. Bastardy means illegitimate, relationship. He should be guilty of bad blood. Bastardy means bad blood. A noble Roman always has good blood, noble blood, and not bad blood. Spoiled blood, rotten blood, stinking blood, let me tell you. And if a Roman reveals this secret to others, if any of us reveals this secret of our assassination of Caesar to others, such a man must be guilty of bearing bad blood and not sacred blood, he says. Hence, we don't need any oath. This huge speech, a longish speech, is given by Brutus as a response, as an answer to Cassius's single line. What Cassius says? He says, he asks all the Romans, all these conspirators, to swear their resolution, to promise that they should not reveal that plan of assassinating Caesar to others. To that one line of Cassius, Brutus gives such a lengthy speech. Because Brutus is not a man who follows what others have begun. Understood? Brutus always wants others to follow him. He doesn't want to follow others. And he is not a person to follow others. He is such an egocentric, selfish man. Brutus. Look at this, he says, every Roman, every drop of blood that every Roman bears and nobly bears will be guilty of a several bastardy if he breaks the smallest particle of any promise that has come from him. See, we have all come here, he says, thinking that we would not reveal this secret of assassinating Caesar to others. If we are noble, we don't need these promises. And who promises? He has already spoken of who needs promises. And he says, they don't belong to those groups who need promises. Then Cassius says, Cassius keeps quiet. He knows that Brutus is not a man to listen to others. Cassius now speaks of Cicero. Do you know who this Cicero is? Cicero is an elderly senator, an elderly politician with grey hair. Shakespeare calls his grey hair silver hair. These grey-haired people, elderly people, are always respected by youngsters. Understood? When youngsters go with an elderly person, even the youngsters get a lot of respect from others because they are with that elderly man. That's why Cassius says, but what of Cicero? Shall we sound him? I think he will stand very strong with us. Whatever Cassius suggests, Brutus always rejects or refuses. Because Brutus never wants Cassius to take the lead. Brutus always wants himself to take the lead. That is why whatever practical suggestion Cassius puts forward is either rejected or refused by Brutus. Look at this. When Cassius says, but what of Brutus? What of Cicero? Shall we sound him? What's the meaning of sounding him? Revealing the secret to him. What is sound? When you speak, when you utter, sound comes out of your mouth. That means, shall we speak to Cicero? Shall we reveal our secret of assassinating Caesar to Cicero? Because I think he will stand very strong with us. He will definitely support us, he says. He is an elderly man, an experienced man, and he knows the ins and outs of Rome, the ins and outs of Caesar. Hence, if we go and reveal our secret to Cicero, I think Cicero will stand by us. Cicero will support us, he says. Then Casca supports Cassius. Casca says, yes, let us not leave him out. Let us include Cicero in our conspiracy, he says. Look at Cinna. Cinna says, no, by no means we should leave Cicero, he says. Even he supports Cassius. Then look at Metellus Cimber. Metellus Cimber says, oh, let us not leave him. Look at his speech. I'll read out the entire speech of Metellus Cimber. You carefully follow every line, and I will interpret every line for your benefit. Metellus says, oh, let us have him. Let us have him, for his silver hairs will purchase us a good opinion, and by men's voices to commend our deeds. It shall be said, his judgment ruled our hands, and our youth and our wildness shall no bit appear, but all be buried in his gravity. Look at the way, Metellus Cimber gives his opinion of Cicero. Metellus Cimber says, oh, let us have him, for his silver hair. Here, Metellus Cimber behaves like a businessman. See, when you sell silver, people would give money and buy it. Understood? Here, he is behaving like a businessman. He says, Cicero's silver hair will purchase good opinion from people. Look at the language here. That's why let me tell you, dear friends, Shakespeare is the greatest communicator of the English language under the sun. He says, for his silver hairs will purchase us, will buy us good opinion. If Cicero is with us, people will have good opinion of us. And his silver hair also will buy men's voices. His silver hair will buy people's voices to appreciate our action, to commend. What's the meaning of commending, appreciating, complimenting? He says his silver hairs will purchase us a good opinion, and it will buy Romans' voices to commend our deed. What is going to be our deed? Of assassinating Caesar. And that deed of ours will be commended, will be appreciated, will be praised, will be glorified, will be supported by the Romans if Cicero is with us. And it will buy him. I'll read out the lines once again for you. Oh, let us not leave him, for his silver hairs will purchase us a good opinion and buy men's voices to commend our deeds. And it shall be said, people will say, what would people say if Cicero is with us? People will say, his judgment ruled our hands. People will say, oh, Cicero is with them. And Cicero's judgment must have guided these youngsters to assassinate Caesar. And hence, whatever these youngsters have done, it is done out of love for our country. People would say and people would believe if we have Cicero's support. And then he says, and our youth and our wildness. What is wildness he's talking about? About assassinating Caesar. Spilling Caesar's blood by stabbing him. That's called wildness. Our youth and our wildness shall no whit appear. It will never appear. Our cruelty of killing Caesar will not appear. Even if it appears, it will be covered in Cicero's dignified words, in Cicero's dignified appearance and personality, because Cicero is an elderly man with silver hair, grey hair. He says, our youth and our wildness shall no whit appear. It will never appear at all. And it will all be buried. It will all be covered up in Cicero's gravity. Gravity means dignity, being very serious. So Cicero is a very serious man, kind of a man. Elderly people are always dignified. So if he is with us, our assassination would be easily, appreciated by people, he says. When everybody speaks of Cicero being in the group, being in their, faction, as it were, F-A-C-T-I-O-N, group of conspirators. Look at Brutus. Brutus has his own way of rejecting these people's opinion of Cicero. Brutus says, oh, name him not. I'll read out Brutus's words. Here you can easily find out that Brutus is highly self-centered. And he is always the attention seeker. He never follows anybody, but he wants others to follow him. Isn't this foolishness? This should not happen at every stage, dear friends. See, sometimes all of us want others to follow us, but not always. If we think that others should follow us, we will become fools. Look at Brutus. He says, oh, name him not. Let us not break with him. For he will never follow anything that other men begin. Brutus is talking about himself in a way. While talking about Caesar, Brutus unknowingly is talking about himself. Understood? He says, oh, name him not. No, don't take out his name. Don't take out the name of Cicero. Let us not break with him. That means let us not reveal our secret to him. Because he will never. Who is he talking about? When he uses he is talking about Cicero. Brutus is talking about Cicero. Brutus says, for he will never follow anything that others begin. So while talking about Cicero, he is talking about himself. Because Brutus is the right man. Brutus is the man who never follow anything that other men have begun. But he, sees his nature in Cicero. His behavior in Cicero. So when Brutus refuses to reveal the secret and take the opinion and support of Cicero, Cassius knows that Brutus is a fellow who never follows what others begin. So Cassius says, then leave him out. Cassius surrenders himself to his fate now, because he has given everything to Brutus, every responsibility to Brutus, and even every leadership to Brutus, and Cassius has to keep his mouth shut. Cassius says, then leave him out. Look at Cassius. Immediately Cassius says, indeed he is not fit. Look at these people. They are all turncoats. Turncoats. Turncoats are opportunists. When Cassius wants to include Cicero, Casca, Metellus, Cinna, everybody supports Cassius. When Brutus says they should not depend on Cicero, and when Cassius supports Brutus, Casca also supports him, Cinna also supports him, Metellus also supports him. These are all turncoats. And this is what happens in politics, dear friends. Indeed, he is not fit, Casca said. Look at Decius. Now Decius comes out with one more fabulous suggestion. Decius says, shall no man else be touched but only Caesar? Okay, let us leave Cicero aside. Now Decius comes out with another doubt. Decius says, shall no man else be touched other than Caesar, but only Caesar? That means, should we kill only Caesar and not others? Touching means killing. Shall no man else be touched? Shouldn't we kill any other person other than Caesar? Should we kill only Caesar and leave others freely? Says Decius. And Cassius supports Decius. Cassius once again comes up with his suggestion, and once again his suggestion is rejected by Brutus. At every step you see that Brutus is not a true lover of his country, dear friends. He pretends to be great. He pretends patriotism. He pretends loving his country, but he is an attention seeker. He wants others to follow him. So you listen to my words. Only then would you understand the character of Brutus in a better way. Then look at Cassius' words. I'll read out the entire speech of Cassius, and you please follow it very carefully. Cassius says, Decius well urged, I think it is not meet Mark Antony, so well beloved of Caesar, should outlive Caesar. We shall find of him a shrewd contriver, and his means, if we improve them, may well stretch so far as to annoy us all, which to prevent, let Antony and Caesar fall together. This is another lovely practical suggestion given by Cassius, which is once again rejected by Brutus in his own way. Look at Cassius. See, he says, Decius well urged. Decius, you have spoken very well. Urging means here speaking. You have spoken well. I think it is not meet. Meet means proper. I think it is not proper for us to leave Mark Antony and only assassinate Caesar. Let us kill Mark Antony also along with Caesar. Cassius says, Mark Antony, he is so loved by Caesar. And if we kill Caesar, Mark Antony will become very angry. And he will definitely use his intelligence and he will definitely take revenge on us. And we will have to face a lot of problems from Antony if we leave Antony to live. Look at this. He says, I think it is not meet Mark Antony, so well beloved of Caesar. He is so loved by Caesar. And we should not allow Mark Antony to live. I think it is not proper for us to leave Mark Antony to live after Caesar's death. Should outlive Caesar. What is outliving? Surviving after the death of Caesar. Because we shall find of him a shrewd contriver. These are the words that explain Mark Antony's character. Mark Antony is a shrewd contriver. Shrewd, very intelligent, very clever planner. What is the meaning of contriver? One who plans. He is a very, very intelligent planner. And you know his means. You know his strengths, his ways of approach, his resources. You know his means, his resources. And if he proves them, if he betters his resources, then he may well stretch so far as to annoy us all. He will go to the extreme end to trouble us all if we allow him to live. Which to prevent, if we want to prevent Antony from doing any danger to us, let Antony and Caesar fall together. Let us kill both Caesar and Antony. Let us not allow Antony to live after Caesar's death. He is going to be dangerous to us. So let us kill both Antony and Caesar. Is the practical suggestion given by Cassius. And in my next video, let me see how Brutus rejects this fantastic practical suggestion given by Cassius. We'll meet up in the next video. Till then, God bless you all. Take care. Bye-bye. And read the textbook once again. Thank you. Bye.